Hello and welcome to Tuesday Newsday, your number one resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. Holy cow, it's been a long time since we've had a Tuesday Newsday with some real meat. The VR space has been relatively quiet for the past few months, but that's all about to change. Firmware leaks give incredible detail on what looks to be the Quest Pro to be announced next month at Facebook Connect, as well as some very interesting connecting patents. The links are one, a new headset to be launched soon now has a price and more information, and some crazy Japanese VR headset called the Half Dive. Finally, we have a good week of VR stuff. We got so much to talk about, so let's just get right into the news. So let's start off with the Ray-Ban stories. Last year at Facebook Connect, Facebook Reality Labs mentioned that they were working with Ray-Ban to create a set of smart glasses in a familiar form factor. Well, these sort of silently launched last week, and I did actually get my hands on a pair. Basically, they are sunglasses that have a couple cameras, a microphone, speakers, but look and feel remarkably similar to original Ray-Ban Wayfarers. These aren't augmented reality glasses though, but they've clearly been stated to be the first step on a journey towards true AR. But of course, Facebook plus cameras on a wearable raises some very interesting questions. Like I said, I did get a pair and I've been using them, and I'm planning on releasing a full video on them and their ethics concerns, but also the cool stuff that they offer later this week. Just let me know if you actually want to see that one. Next up, probably legitimately the weirdest VR headset I have ever seen in my life. We all know what Full Dive is, but what about Half Dive? And that's the name of the headset from Japanese company DiverX. The Half Dive headset is a VR device entirely designed for laying down and sleeping in VR, set to launch on Kickstarter in November of this year. But the Half Dive actually has some really interesting hardware, supposedly having one of the clearest lens systems ever put in a headset, ditching the typical Fresnel lenses that we see in most headsets today for a 10-lens varifocal system, leading to a device that, according to DiverX, has zero God rays, lens flares, or distortion, even at a field of view of 134 degrees. This makes total sense, as the biggest reason why we don't have the 10-lens systems that do this today is that they're pretty big and heavy, and it's not something you'd necessarily want hanging off the front of your face. And if you do miniaturize it, it gets very expensive very fast. But since the Half Dive is a stationary VR device, well, weight and size doesn't matter so much. But that's far from the whole story. Inside of the housing of the device are 4 speakers placed around your head, 2 fans for wind feedback, a wire-based force feedback system for your arms so you can feel friction or resistance when, for example, swinging a sword in VR as they state here, haptic vibration feedback, and small trackers for your feet so you can walk in VR by just tilting your feet back and forth. The resolution isn't anything too special here at 1600 by 1440 per eye at 90 Hz, but I didn't see anything about OLED versus LCD here. And apparently a proprietary hand controller will be revealed soon. I don't know, it's incredibly interesting and a little weird. I mean, it's cool and I kind of get what they're going for, a VR device fully built for laying down and sleeping, and here's what they had to say, quote, "Half Dive is more than just a VR device. It's a supercomputer interface, EGG, that can overcome the physicality based on the laws of physics and realize true VR. DiverX is already optimized for use while laying down, a device that gives the illusion of standing, a device that gives the illusion of moving without moving the body," end quote. Like I said, this Kickstarter launches November 6th with a starting cost of 80,000 yen, or about $750 for the base model that doesn't have any of the best features that I talked about, and up to 400,000 yen, or $3,600 for the fully kitted out version. Seems a little expensive, but if I can get my hands on one, of course I will. Now on to the Quest Pro. So I've been talking about Quest Pro leaks for the better part of the last year. Mark Zuckerberg and Andrew Bosworth have already practically confirmed that something like an upgraded Quest 2 will come eventually. But this week we have some relatively concrete information about what this new headset will actually offer. Starting off small, the Oculus Guardian intrusion detection, or when your headset detects something has entered your play space, has been replaced with something called SpaceSense, a new system that actually shows things or people that have entered your play space. space. This isn't quite available yet, as it was found by user Basti564 within hidden files, and it can be turned on or off. It does seem like a really cool way to see outlines of people or objects in your play space, but that's not the only leak, and it's very far from the most important one. Reddit user Reggie04 dug around the V29 and up firmware and found a gold mine of information. Multiple strings directly referring to a device literally named Quest Pro, in reference to hand tracking, a new set of sensors, references to manual IPD adjustment and lens focal adjustment, similar to what we have on the Rift S and Index. These sensors, though, are even more exciting than they sound, with full references to eye tracking in follow the target with your gaze, eye calibration failed, obviously referring to some eye tracking calibrations, and full face tracking, with a set of strings asking the user to calibrate the facial tracker and copy multiple expressions in order to calibrate the system, asking users to show an angry expression until calibration is complete, or smile naturally until the calibration is complete. But that's not it. Possibly gone are the physical shifting of lenses like we have on the Quest 2, where you have 3 clicks of IPD adjustment. As this string mentions, slide the lenses closer or further apart to improve visual clarity. Could be the same adjustment that we have now, but it sounds a lot more like a traditional IPD slider, especially when you see use the slider on the bottom left of the headset to align the lenses with your eyes. And of course, a depth adjustment was referenced, allowing you to slide lenses closer to your eyes, a feature that I really love about my Index. And there are 2 interesting strings here. Press and hold the depth button and move the headset closer or further away from your face. The lenses should be close to your eyes, but not cause discomfort. And adjust lens depth. Another interesting thing that brings us to the next bit of evidence here is this line. Turn the wheel left or right to adjust tightness. The front padding should fit directly over your forehead. Well, I don't know of a headset from Oculus besides the Rift S that has ever directly fit over the forehead. And well, the Rift S is cancelled. There is, however, a patent from Facebook filed in February of this year that was recently published in late July of this year, showing a design of a very obvious Oculus headset with a forehead pad and a halo headstrap design similar to the Rift S. This, however, is really the only direct similarity I see, as in this patent there's no showing of an IPD adjustment, lens depth adjustment, or obvious face trackers on this patent, as well as a lack of actual camera numbers on this patent compared to any of Oculus's other previous inside-out tracking offerings. This could very well be the design of the Quest Pro or whatever is coming, or it could not. All we know so far is that in the firmware there were direct mentions of face tracking, eye tracking, IPD adjustment, depth adjustment, and a halo-like headstrap design with a wheel for adjustment. Facebook Connect is just over a month away, and this is likely where we'll hear all about this officially. And since the Ray-Ban stories were already released before Facebook Connect, I can bet that either this headset will be announced or released, because otherwise this would be a very boring Facebook Connect with little to no actual product launches. We'll just have to see, and don't worry, I'll keep you updated on whatever I find or whatever I see here. I'm also expecting new lenses, possibly a slightly wider field of view, full RGB pass-through, and also possibly a new higher price with the Pro and Quest 2 sold side by side. If you are curious on what face tracking and eye tracking can do for VR, and if you're an absolute non-believer, I just made a video on a headset that has full face tracking and eye tracking. And if you got some free time, you should check it out just to see what the technology offers VR. But now it's time for a meme break. So, hot off the heels of my Catwalk C video a few days ago, I found this gem of a video of people in a VR arcade using VR slide mills. Just check this out.
Hey, I'm right here with you. Hey, come here. What the hell is that? Hey, stop playing, fool.
Funny thing is, no one is actually overacting here, or at least I don't think. My guy's actually running for his virtual life. But now back to the news. I've talked quite a bit about the Lynx R1, an upcoming standalone VR headset that contains a Snapdragon XR2, hand tracking, and a very interesting lens design using a prism system like we've never seen before. Well, a couple months ago, Lynx announced that they would be literally doing anything that they could to compete with a Quest 2, and would be selling their headset as cheap as possible to consumers. And we now finally have have a price and a date. Launching on Kickstarter later this month for $499, unfortunately not quite as low as I would have liked, as the original quote said they would be aiming for a couple $100s. Also, considering the Lynx doesn't ship with controllers out of the gate, I'm very interested to see how this headset does in terms of sales and adoption. The fun part of this headset is it's not only meant to be a VR headset, but also a full-on mixed reality / AR headset, having multiple modes of usage including a full color pass-through system. The Lynx has gone through a lot of phases, initially being a $1,500 headset that looked and performed quite a bit differently, and now this is a shift towards a cheaper headset. The Lynx promises a lot, so I'm definitely excited to get my hands on one. Plus, they are selling a special transparent edition which looks ridiculously cool. 90 Hz, 1600 by 1600, standalone with SteamVR compatibility, and it comes in clear. A huge update from the Slime VR team. Slime is a full body tracking method created by Aaron using a set of IMUs requiring no base stations or expensive trackers that I covered a few months ago, actually using them in hand. Well, Slime has been officially funded on Crowdsupply with a goal of $180,000. The campaign has raised $321,000 with a month left in the campaign. This is honestly super exciting as I love full body tracking, and I think every VR enthusiast should try it at some point. It's just really expensive now. And Slime sorta solves a lot of that. While still being a little pricey, it's nowhere near the price of buying dedicated base stations and Vive trackers. Also, since the last time I covered it a few months ago, the whole system has drastically gotten better and easier to set up. Almost all of the biggest problems that I had with Slime basically being solved or fixed. Starting at $190, you can even get a really cool transparent purple design, and having used and seen Slime get better, it does get an official stamp of approval if you're looking for cheaper full body tracking. Hey, remember Horizon Workspaces, the VR work app that Facebook Reality Labs just unveiled, allowing for professional workspaces to happen in VR? Well, it's been announced that Zoom is officially partnering with Workspaces to bring Zoom into VR as a native solution. Arriving next year, this allows for non-VR and VR people to meet and hold meetings using virtual whiteboards and presentations. Honestly sounds really cool, and I'm all for better native work applications for VR. But now it's time for question of the week from Cross of Gaming. I'm thinking of buying a Quest 2. Should I wait for the event for a possibility of a Quest 2 Pro? I already have the Quest 1. And yes, absolutely. If you're on the fence right now about buying a Quest 2 or upgrading your existing headset, you should seriously wait until Facebook Connect to make a purchase. I don't mean to sound mean, but even if absolutely nothing is announced or released, which sounds crazy given all the leaks we just saw today, it would be decently foolish to invest in a device right now when something even better could be coming in about a month, especially if you have the money to spend on a slightly more expensive but newer device. And that's question of the week. Don't forget to leave yours down below. I may just answer yours next. I will be streaming on Twitch after this video, so stop on by and say what's up. Also, join in my Discord server for an amazing VR community. I want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my Omegas that you see on screen right now. Don't forget to like this video if you loved it, subscribe if you want more of this, and hit that freaking bell if you just can't live without it. Much love, Thrill out.